about 40 years, you can see the reference down here, on resiliency. What's resiliency?
Being able
Bounce
to
back.
overcome obstacles that come along in your life and bouncing back.
Yeah, well, anytime I ask that question, people talk about bouncing
Bouncing
back.
back.
So life knocks you down, but you're able to pick yourself back up again and keep going forward, right? What these group of researchers were very interested in is why in the same family, you know, you'll have one sibling be able to overcome incredible obstacles and go on to accomplish great things and have a great life. And another child in the same family succumbs to those things, that life stuff, and is not able to move forward and ends up in jail or unemployed chronically or something like that, right? They're interested in why that happens. And so they studied a group of people for 40 years, from childhood to adulthood, to find out what happened in each of them. And they found out, okay, there's some factors in their lives that put them at risk of not developing into a happy, healthy, well-adjusted, well-connected adult. And there are things that protect them and help them achieve that. And they also found that those factors break down into 4 basically big categories, sort of individual, and so an individual risk factor would be something like ADHD, right? And a protective factor would be like a great personality. It's a good sense of humor. And for family, maybe a risk factor is poverty. A protective factor could be an engaged parent. Right? In their neighborhood, a risk factor, I'm looking at my notes over here to make sure I don't have a brain meltdown. A neighborhood risk factor could be crime, right? And another one could be a protective factor in their neighborhood would be some positive peer pressure going on, right? Maybe there's some, on that block, a lot of people look out for each other or something.
Boys and Girls Club.
There you go, right? School and peers, right? A risk factor may be, you know, there's some negative peer pressure, but a protective factor could be there's a great teacher. That's there, right? So, what I'd like you to do is to think of a child that you know, right? A child that you know very well. And just talk a little bit about that child, right? In the context of their risk factors and protective factors. I'd like you to do this in groups of 2 or 3, just for like 3 minutes or so. Just talk about a child that you know in the context of risk factors and protective factors.